Most people do not wake up broke because of one terrible decision. They wake up broke because of hundreds of tiny choices that felt harmless at the time. If you asked most people why they are not wealthy, you would probably hear answers like this: I do not make enough money, I was not born into the right family, the system is stacked against me, or I just got unlucky. Those explanations sound reasonable, and parts of them can be true in specific cases, but they miss the core reason most people stay poor. People usually remain financially stuck not because of bad luck, but because of predictable behavioral patterns that quietly sabotage their progress over years. That is what I am breaking down today. Let me start with a simple picture. Imagine two neighbors who live on the same street. They work similar jobs. They earn similar salaries. They grew up in similar circumstances. One is named Alex, the other is named Brian. Alex constantly feels like money is tight. He works hard but never seems to get ahead. Every few months something goes wrong. A car repair, a medical bill, or an unexpected expense wipes out his savings. When you talk to Alex, he sounds responsible. He says things like, I pay my bills, I work hard, I do everything right. And in a narrow sense, that is true. Brian, on the other hand, does not feel rich, but his money steadily increases every year. He is not flashy. He does not drive a luxury car. He does not post about wealth online, yet his net worth consistently rises. From the outside, most people assume Alex is unlucky and Brian is lucky. That assumption is wrong. Alex is broke because of a pattern he does not see. Brian is getting wealthier because of a pattern he follows deliberately. That difference explains why most people stay poor. The first trap is this: people confuse income with wealth. Most people treat income and wealth as the same thing. They are not. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. Alex earns $70,000 a year. Brian also earns $70,000 a year. Alex assumes his salary means he deserves a nicer lifestyle. So he leases a new car, upgrades his apartment, eats out frequently, and buys things that signal success. Brian looks at the same salary and asks a different question: how much of this can I actually keep? At the end of the year, Alex has a higher lifestyle. Brian has a higher net worth. Most people stay poor because their spending increases at the exact same pace as their income. Here's how this plays out in real life. Alex gets a $5,000 raise. Instead of saving more, he immediately upgrades his life. Higher car payment, more dining out, nicer clothes, maybe a bigger apartment. He feels successful. His financial position does not improve. Brian gets the same raise. He keeps his lifestyle mostly the same and invests the extra money. He does not feel richer immediately. 10 years later, that choice is worth tens of thousands of dollars. Wealth is not built by how much you make. It is built by how much you keep and invest. The second trap is that people focus on today instead of the future. Alex makes decisions based on immediate emotions. If he wants something, he buys it. If something looks appealing, he justifies it. Brian makes decisions based on where he wants to be in 10 years. When Alex sees a new car, he thinks, I work hard, I deserve this. When Brian sees the same car, he thinks, do I want this more than financial freedom later? That single shift in thinking explains most differences in financial outcomes. Most people stay poor because they treat money emotionally instead of strategically. They spend when they feel good. They spend when they feel bad. They spend when they are bored. They spend to impress others. Money does not respond to emotion. It responds to discipline. Here's a clear example. Alex has a bad day at work, so he orders expensive takeout and buys something online he does not need. He feels better for an hour, then worse when the credit card bill arrives. Brian has a bad day, but instead of spending, he goes for a walk, cooks at home, or works on a personal project. His financial position remains intact. The third trap is misunderstanding how wealth is actually built. Many people believe wealth comes from one big win: winning the lottery, starting a viral business, picking the perfect stock, becoming an influencer. That is not how most real wealth is created. Brian did not get rich from one lucky move. He built wealth gradually. He saved a portion of every paycheck. He invested consistently in diversified assets like broad index funds. He avoided unnecessary debt. He lived below his means. None of this looked exciting. Over decades, compound growth did the work. Consider this. If Brian invested $500 a month starting at age 25, that habit alone could grow to more than $1 million by retirement through average market returns. Alex, meanwhile, keeps waiting for a breakthrough that never arrives. He tells himself, I will start saving when I make more money. The years pass, and he never starts. Most people stay poor because they underestimate small habits and overestimate dramatic wins. They expect massive results in 1 year and ignore what is possible in 10. The fourth trap is investing the wrong way. Alex treats investing like a game. He chases trends, listens to hype, and jumps into whatever is popular. Cryptocurrency, meme stocks, speculative startups. Sometimes he wins briefly. Most of the time, he loses. He keeps telling himself, I just need to get lucky once. Brian invests completely differently. He uses simple, diversified investments over long periods of time. He does not try to outsmart the market. He keeps investing even when markets drop. Most people stay poor because they treat investing like gambling. Real wealth is boring. It grows slowly. That is why it works. The fifth trap is lifestyle inflation. When Alex gets a raise, his expenses immediately rise. New car payment, higher rent, more dining out, more shopping. He feels like he has leveled up. Financially, he is still stuck. Brian does the opposite. When his income rises, his lifestyle barely changes and his investments grow. Here is a simple rule. If your lifestyle grows as fast as your income, you will never build wealth. If your lifestyle stays steady while your income grows, wealth builds quickly. The sixth trap is comparison. Alex spends hours on social media. He sees people traveling, driving luxury cars, and showing off expensive lifestyles. He feels behind, so he spends money he does not have to look successful. Brian almost never compares himself to others. He compares himself to his past self. Is he better off than last year? Is his net worth increasing? Is he building something meaningful? Most people stay poor because they chase appearances instead of reality. They want to look rich more than they want to be rich. The seventh trap is misunderstanding debt. Alex uses debt casually. Credit cards for shopping, loans for cars he cannot afford, payment plans for things he does not need. He tells himself that everyone has debt. Brian uses debt strategically. He might take out a mortgage or invest in education, but he avoids high-interest consumer debt. High-interest debt is like running uphill while carrying a heavy backpack. Progress is possible, but far slower than it needs to be. The eighth trap is avoiding financial education. Alex finds finance boring or confusing, so he avoids it. Brian learns the basics: budgeting, investing, risk management. You do not need to be a financial expert to build wealth. You do need to understand the fundamentals. Most people stay poor because they treat money as mysterious instead of learnable. Now here is the deeper psychological trap. Many people assume wealth is only for other people. They believe rich people are smarter, luckier, or somehow different. Brian rejects that belief. He understands that ordinary people build wealth through ordinary habits repeated over time. If you believe wealth is impossible, you will never even try. If you believe it is possible, your decisions change. That leads to the central idea of this video. People do not stay poor because of one big mistake. They stay poor because of small, invisible habits repeated for years. Change those habits, and your financial future changes. Here's what actually works. First, separate income from wealth. Focus less on what you earn and more on what you keep. Second, think long term. Make decisions based on where you want to be in 10 years, not how you feel today. Third, invest consistently in simple assets. Steady behavior beats brilliance. Fourth, control lifestyle inflation. Let savings grow faster than spending. Fifth, stop comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to your past. Sixth, use debt carefully. Avoid high-interest consumer debt. Seventh, learn the basics of money. You do not need to master it, just understand it. If Alex adopted these principles, his life would look dramatically different in a decade. He might still drive a normal car. He might still live in a modest home, but his net worth would rise. His stress would fall. His options would expand. He would worry less about bills. He would feel more secure. He would have real financial freedom. That is what genuine financial success looks like. Most people stay poor not because they cannot build wealth, but because they never recognize how everyday choices shape their future. This is not about judgment, it is about clarity. And when you control your money, your life becomes far more free.